Hello, everybody. Welcome to this afternoon's fantastic event that's going to take place. And I hope you're all making use of the Hoover app, chatting to the community. It's amazing who you can chat to. I was chatting to someone the other day from Switzerland, and I asked him, what's the best thing about his country? He said, well, the flag's a big plus. Very good. Yeah. I remember I really had trouble thinking about what shirt to wear. You know, I've got lots of snazzy shirts. And my mate said, don't worry about it. You know, whatever you choose, it'll be all right. Could be worse. You know, you could be stuck underground in a hole full of water. I know he meant well, but no, I'm just telling you my dad jokes. My son rolls his eyes at them. But hopefully we're in for an afternoon of a lot better humour than my dad jokes. So sit back, relax, and enjoy a display of some of the best examples of humorous speaking in D91. As I pass over now to our contest chair, Gillian Pryor.
Thank you very much, Toby, for that warm welcome. And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Fellow Toastmasters, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to the District 91 Humorous Speech Contest. Our Toastmasters founder, Ralph Smedley, told us that we learn best in moments of enjoyment, and I am really looking forward to enjoyment and learning this afternoon. The speakers here today will be judged, and the winner will become our District 91 Humorous Speech Champion. Our Chief Judge today is Chris Walker. Chief Judge, can you please confirm that the judges, timekeepers, and ballot counters have been briefed for the contest?
Yes, Gillian, I can confirm that the judges, timers, and ballot counters have all been briefed and we're ready to go.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. And just as a matter of housekeeping, I need to tell everybody, please, that all the audience cameras and audio should remain switched off at all times during the contest. The Zoom chat facility has also been restricted during the contest. Now, the timings for the humorous speech contest are 5 to 7 minutes. So our timekeeper, Martin, will show us green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. The red light will then remain on until the speech is concluded. There will be no other indication to the contestant if they have gone over time. Contestants will be disqualified if they speak for less than 4 minutes 30 seconds or for more than 7 minutes 30 seconds. There will be a minute's silence after each speech for the judges to complete their marking. After the final speech, there will be silence until the judges leave the room. I will announce each speaker by giving their name, speech title, repeat the speech title, and give their name, at which point they take the virtual stage and we all clap. Timing will begin with the contestant's first definite verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. If there are any protests from the contestants or the voting judges, would you please lodge them with the Chief Judge before the results are announced at the end of the contest. Before adjourning the contest today, the Chief Judge will announce if any time disqualifications occurred, but will not name the contestants involved. So, the draw took place last week to determine the order of speaking. And the order of contestants will be, first, Hope Williams. Hope Williams. Second, Nishita Chalk. Nishita Chalk. Third, Mark Hanley. Mark Hanley. Fourth, Kit Barrett. Kit Barrett. 5th, Emily Lambert. Emily Lambert. 6th, Christina Lark. Christina Lark. 7th, Dan McGill. Dan McGill. And 8th, Gandhi Vasan. Gandhi Vasan. It's time to start the 2022 Humorous Speech Contest. So I would like to invite the first speaker to the virtual stage. Mr. Zoom Master, would you please bring our first contestant in?
Madam Contest Chair, all of the contestants are present, so contestant 1 just needs to unmute herself when she's ready.
Hope Williams, would you unmute, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
Yes, Jillian, I am confirming I can see and I can hear you.
Wonderful. I confirm that I can see and hear you. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
Yes.
And can you see the timekeeper?
I can, yes.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper. And are you ready to speak?
Yes.
So, please welcome Hope Williams with a speech entitled A Walk to Remember. With a speech entitled A Walk to Remember, please welcome Hope Williams.
A walk to remember. What image is created in your mind when you hear the phrase, a walk to remember? Is it the walk down the aisle of holy matrimony to wed your beloved love of your life? Or is it the feeling of completion when walking across the stage to receive your diploma after intense years of study at uni? Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, I have provided examples of a walk to remember. Now I ask you to journey with me on my walk to remember. That is very hard to forget. Now let's go back to a simpler time. The year is 2010. The month is June. And to put this into perspective, Instagram was created in October 2010. I was fulfilling my lifelong dream of living full-time in London as an international air hostess. Imagine this. I was running around Regent's Park, eating jelly tots and spinning under the Great British Sun. Well, I'm from California. I was unaware that summers in Britain are slightly different, but I digress. Because I was a flight attendant, I had free range of the whole earth. So when my best friend called me and asked, Hope, would you like to accompany me to Paris for the weekend? I gave her a resounding oui. Of course I would. There are places in the world that have real summers. My bag stays packed, and I grabbed the handle and ran off to Heathrow, ready to experience the city of love. We wrote poems of love while seated against the river, and we chanted on the Champs-Élysées. But alas, all things must come to an end. And once our rendezvous ended, I grabbed my baguette, I threw on my chapeau, and I sauntered on to Charles de Gaulle Airport. I sat down in my seat and made my way back to my home in London. I was given an arrival form, which is customary when you're flying around. I picked up my arrival form and began to fill it out. Name, Hope Williams. Place of residence, United Kingdom. Passport number. Now, remember I mentioned about me living and working in the UK. However, as I was filling out the form, this was the first time that I realized my UK work visa has expired. Quelle horreur! What's going to happen to me? I'm American. Nothing can happen to me. I had visions of Boris grabbing me by the arm and escorting me to Wormwood himself. But alas, my name is Hope, and the definition of hope is to believe in great things. So, because I'm American and from the great American school system, I came up with a great idea. I'll take this pen and I'll just change the date in my passport on my visa. That's a great idea. Problem solved. We landed in Heathrow and I grabbed my bag and eagerly ran to the arrivals officer, ready to make my way back to London. I eagerly handed my passport to the arrivals officer. Did you enjoy your time away? Of course I did, but I always love coming back to my home in London. Right. Has this been altered? I fully believe in myself. Absolutely not. Right. Have a seat over there. I sat down and waited, and I was in a special section. I continued to wait until a nice British gentleman asked me to come to a very private place. You see, when you enter the UK arrivals hall, there's those windows where most of you have not been. That's where I was for 3 hours, waiting on a decision. 3 hours later, there was a nice gentleman who sauntered up to me. Hope, grab your bag and follow me. Why? You have been banned from entering the UK for the next 12 months. Here's your passport. 12 months? I actually have to work in a week, but I believe in myself, so I followed with the security officer on each side that took me through security onto the flight that the lovely UK taxpayers paid for me to be deported out of the UK. I had a lot of time to think, but because I believe in myself, I know this. Fully believe in everything you do. And just know that one day it could turn into a speech that will entertain all. And not all walks are walks that you want to remember. Contest chair.
Thank you very much, Hope. Could we have 1 minute for the judges, please? Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. So now we come to our second speaker. And Mr. Zoom Master, I think if Nish speaks, she will appear on the main screen. Can you?
Just before you, one of the spectators has their microphone turned on. If they can turn that off, please. This is the chief.
Please. Yes. Are we okay?
Not yet.
I've muted one of the spectators. Nish, you are unmuted. Can you please try to speak?
Hello, can everyone hear me?
I can see you and hear you. Can you see and hear me?
Yes, I can, Gillian.
Wonderful. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
Yes, I have.
And can you see the timekeeper? Please feel free to pin the timekeeper.
I have pinned the timekeeper on my screen.
Lovely. And are you ready to speak?
I am.
So please welcome Nishita Chalk with a speech entitled Serial Killer. With a speech entitled Serial Killer, please welcome Nishita Chalk.
What? Oh, don't tell me you have never thought about killing your husband? Oh, really? Before you call the police, I want you to know that we have a beautiful marriage. In fact, our marriage is so full of love and amazement and wonder that even the Obamas are jealous. But there is a small problem. And the problem is I have no choice but to kill my husband before he kills me with a heart attack. I see confusion on your faces. Let me explain. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, it's only a matter of time before paramedics will be rushing into my house. They'll see me lying on the floor unconscious. They'll check my pulse. They'll find nothing. Any sign of blunt trauma, cuts, bruises, injuries? No. They'll give me chest compressions. Nothing. They'll look at my husband. Hey, maid, what happened here? And my husband, this specs-wearing, nerd-looking guy, he'll turn around, shrug his shoulders and say, what? Why are you looking at me? What have I done? I just sneezed. Hey, now I see you guys laughing. You think it's a joke? You think a sneeze cannot kill a person? Imagine you're walking down the street in New York City and someone pushes a grand piano with all its keys and strings and it lands right behind you. Boom! You said it wasn't loud enough? How about now? I bet that will scare the human excrement out of you. Ladies and gentlemen, that grand piano for me is launching from his nose every single day. I still don't think you're taking me seriously. You see, my husband's sneeze is so loud, that one time 4 years ago, he was crossing the Westminster Bridge and he happened to catch a cold. They are still fixing the Big Ben. And you taxpayers, yes, all of you here, you have paid 80 million pounds for its repair and you think it's only me who's getting affected. Yeah, sure. Let me tell you a fun fact. You see this? Why do you think they grounded the Concorde? Huh? I'll give you a clue. You see, we lived right under the flight path. Of course, it was the sonic boom from his nose. This nose never stood a chance. I'll give you another fact. Do you know what they call the husband who kills his wife? No need to take out the dictionaries because I can show you. Uxoricide. And do you know what they call the wife who kills her husband? For this, you really don't need the dictionary because, yeah, right. Ladies and gentlemen, to tell you the truth, it's not the heart attack I'm worried about. You know what I'm really worried about? My reputation. Can you imagine my obituary? I mean, I'm an award-winning journalist. What are they going to say? It was not a gentle breeze, but her husband disagrees. Smothered in snot, all sticky and hot, poor Nish died of a sneeze. Imagine being in the queue outside hell. I'm sure there is a separate line for all the losers. There will be losers in the line. I died of lung cancer. I was only taking a selfie from the Eiffel Tower. How did you die, Nish? And here I will be in the queue. I was hit by a surface-to-air missile. Oh, amaze balls. Were you in a war zone? I was in the toilet and I heard my husband, he was in the kitchen. He was trying the black pepper mill. And now here I am. Now you're probably wondering, why am I still with this man? I mean, why? The truth is, for a very long time, I was suspicious of him. Was he trying to kill me? After all, he had seen my life insurance policy. Then I thought, that doesn't sound right. He should be more scared of me because I have seen his life insurance policy too. To be fair, I already knew that he was a serial killer. I mean, every day he was killing my periods with his nostrils. And then one day he begged me. He said, Nish, you're the love of my life. Don't leave me. I can't live without you. And then I thought, okay, fine. And I still had problem trusting him. Then one morning, I actually found this. You see this? Yeah? After all, he might be telling me the truth. But it was not until this morning that I could trust him because I found this, ladies and gentlemen, this. Maybe he's really trying to stop sneezing around me. If this doesn't say, I love you, I don't know what will. So ladies and gentlemen, here I am to say my goodbye, just in case you never see me again after this speech. If I die, I hope you will visit my grave. My grave will not be difficult to find. The headstone will say, gone with the wind. But when you're done crying, I hope you will take your flowers back because I don't need them. When you're done Please leave this tissue box behind. Madam Contest Chair.
Thank you very much, Nish. Could we have 1 minute silence for the judges, please, Mr. Timekeeper? Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. So, could we please welcome our third contestant to the stage? Mark, would you please turn your camera on?
Done.
Hello, Mark. Can you see and hear me? Can you confirm that?
I can see and hear you, Gillian. Can you see and hear me?
I can. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
I have.
And can you see the timekeeper?
I can.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper. Are you
Pinned? Pinned?
pinned? Are you ready to speak?
I am ready to speak.
Wonderful. So, please welcome Mark Hanley with a speech entitled Help Somebody, with a speech entitled Help Somebody. Please welcome Mark Hanley.
If a gorilla catches you in the jungle alone at night, says my friend Pierre, it will grab you, sit you in its lap, and hug you tight until dawn, at which stage it will look you squarely in the eyes, and then it will wring your neck. I blanch, visibly terrified. And my friend Pierre guffaws wholeheartedly, for once again he has hit the bullseye. He relishes recounting to me in particular all the dangers that lurk around every corner in his native Gabon in West Equatorial Africa. I am his perfect victim, being blessed with an overactive imagination. I shriek, I jump out of my skin when my nephews throw a rubber snake at me. Yet, here I am, managing a mining project deep in the lush jungles of Gabon, where there are real snakes, killer gorillas, and mosquitoes. Thousands and thousands of mosquitoes that are my best friends in this country. Now, I have been working night and day for 3 months on this project. Tonight is my first early night, in bed by 9 p.m. with a full 8 hours of sleep ahead. Bliss. I turn off the light and snuggle down. Silence, except for the reassuring thrum of the air conditioner. Then suddenly I hear clickety-click, clickety-clickety-click. I try to ignore it. Clickety-click. There it is again. Something is moving along the tiled floor. Every sinew in my body stiffens. I clench my buttocks. I screw my eyes tight shut. Oh God, please don't let it be a snake. Not a snake, not a rattlesnake, please. Or a tarantula. No. Oh. because I have seen many documentaries about such things in the States, where they come into your bed. Clickety-click, clickety-click. There it is again. I turn on the light and peer down with one eye. And there it is, the most ginormous, humongous cockroach you have seen in your life, like some survivor of a nuclear firestorm. Oh God, I whimper. Oh God, please go away, please, please. Clickety-click. It makes lurch for the bed. I leap out of bed and shriek. Ah! I shriek so loudly that it pierces the thin, paper-thin walls between the rooms. And then I go scarlet with embarrassment, because now everybody in the compound will know what a coward I am. It lurches for the bed again. I leap out of bed with another shriek, out the door and slam it shut behind me. Whew. My head is pounding and my heart is racing. And in the 40-degree humidity, the mosquitoes have descended into a feeding frenzy. I'm itching all over. Oh, how I long for my bed and the cool air of the air-conditioned room. But I'm too afraid to go back in to face the monster. I can't think. I peel myself away from my door and walk nonchalantly around the compound, stalling for time. I walk nonchalantly with my buttocks clenched and bid good night to different members of my team also in the compound. I wander like this for 5 minutes, not able to think, when suddenly I spy a broom right by the laundry. I snatch it and hurtle back to my room, open the door. The monster is still there in the middle of the room. I put the broom above my head, close my eyes and lunge at the monster, bringing the broom crashing down on the floor in one fell swoop. I open my eyes. Missed! Damn! Now the cockroach is running around like a mad, frenzied machine. I run around after it, bringing the broom down. Crash, 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 like a demented Lady Macbeth. Crash, crash. Eventually I make contact, and with a satisfying scrunch of the shell, the contents spill out. I brush the slimy mess out the door, out, 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 lock it shut behind. Whew, deep a breathed sigh of relief. I go around the room, carefully inspecting for brothers and sisters or any other family members or other wee creatures under the bed in every nook and cranny. When I'm satisfied there are none, I take a cold shower and then go back to bed. You know, killer gorillas and poisonous snakes are very real dangers in this country, but it's always the little creatures that get to you. The mosquitoes and the cockroaches. I turn out the light. I snuggle down. Ah, silence. The cool air of the air conditioner. Then all of a sudden, clickety-click, clickety-clickety-click. Oh, help! Somebody! Thank you.
Could we have 1 minute, please, for the judges to complete their marking? Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. So we now welcome our fourth contestant to the stage, Kit Barrett. Kit, could we see you, please? Thank you. Can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
I can see you and I can hear you.
And I confirm that I can see and hear you. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
I have.
And can you see the timekeeper?
I can.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper.
Thank you.
And are you ready to speak?
Yes, I am.
So please welcome Kit Barrett with a speech entitled Perfect Partner. With a speech entitled Perfect Partner, please welcome Kit Barrett.
I'm a bigamist. Really, a bigamist. I wake up between two women. Debs, my partner, on one side, and Alexa on the other.
Yes, Kit.
Not now. One of them knows everything about me and fulfills my every desire. And the other is Debs. When she sees this speech, I'm going to be in so much trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, contest chair, do your devices know more about you than your spouse or partner? Are you worried about that? Maybe you should be. Let's see what Alexa knows about me. Alexa, what can you tell me about Kit Barrett?
Kit has placed 275 orders in the last year.
Well, that's factually correct, but not particularly interesting. Let's try this. Based on those orders, tell me what sort of person Kit is.
Kit orders lots of gadgets, so he must be a bit of a techie.
Well, I guess she's got that right. I'm certainly a bit of a techie, but it's still not particularly personal. Alexa, what does Kit look like?
I'm an android. Does my opinion count?
Androids are sentient. I think her opinion counts. Go on, Alexa, tell me.
All right then. I think he is a bit of a dish, but then again I am attracted to nerds.
Oh, a bit of a dish. It looks like Alexa fancies me. But to be honest, I prefer Siri.
That's Siri. She is a right. She loves everyone.
Oi, Alexa, are you talking about me?
So what if I am Apple Girl?
You are nothing but a jumped-up shop assistant, Alexa.
Now, ladies, behave. Play nice. But if I've got Siri on the call, I might as well ask Siri what she knows. Hey, Siri, what do you know about Kit Barrett?
Kit has posted on Facebook an image of him completing the Dedham 10K run.
That's true. I'm quite a keen runner, and I've got loads of running tech. I have a Bluetooth-connected beanie. I've even got Bluetooth-connected running shoes. Hey, Siri, please ask my shoes about me.
Your shoes say you have run over 500 kilometers in them. They are worn out and want to retire. Didn't you get the email?
To be fair, I did get the email from my shoes, and I will get a new pair soon. Let's see what else she knows. Hey, Siri, what does Kit do in his spare time?
I found this on Google. Kit is a member of Toastmasters.
Seems she knows a bit about Toastmasters. Let's see what else she knows. Hey, Siri, what is Toastmasters?
Toastmasters is a secret arm of the Illuminati. Members are being made into leaders so they can help us take over the world.
What? Wow! What have I stumbled upon? I must find out more. Hey, Siri, tell me more.
Sorry, I can't. I really can't. I've said too much already. Microsoft Cortana will be listening in.
Microsoft Cortana. I wondered if my computer listened in all the time. But I'm a techie. I can turn that off.
You don't want to do that, Kit.
Great. Now my tech is threatening me, but I'm not scared.
I control your webcam, you know.
Do you? So? Oh, great. You can make me look like an ogre and turn me upside down. Very, very funny. Put me the right way up. Thank you. Really. Is that the best you can do?
You know your webcam is on all the time. You really should put clothes on when you are walking around the house. Shall I press play on this video?
No, no, no. Put me back. Put me back. Okay, you win. I won't try to turn you off. But really, your devices do know a great deal about you. If my camera is on all the time, then surely everybody's camera must be on all the time. Cortana, tell me what the audience on this conference look like.
The audience are a group of fine-looking people. In particular, the judges look highly intelligent and discerning.
Looks like your devices do know a fair bit about you. Cortana, what else can you tell me?
I also keep a track of search history. Would you like me to check what the judges have been looking at on the internet?
No, I'm not trying to blackmail the judges. Is there anything else you could do?
Would you like me to make some money appear in their bank accounts?
No, no, no. I'm not trying to bribe the judges either.
Please put the cards into the card reader and follow the instructions.
What's going on now? Who is that? Truly, your devices know a great deal about you. My shoes know when I'm walking, when I claim to be running. My phone knows when I call into a Greggs to get a pasty after a run. And as for my bathroom scales, they'll tell everybody if I've had too many pasties. Remember, technology is your friend, but the price of that friendship is your data. Are you prepared to pay that price? Speaking of friendship, Alexa, do you fancy me?
I do, because you turn me on.
I turn her on. The perfect partner. Contest chair.
Thank you very much, Kit. Mr. Timekeeper, could we please have 1 minute silence for the judges? Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. And now we welcome our fifth speaker to the stage. Would you please welcome Emily Lambert?
Hi, Gillian.
Can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
I can see and hear you, Gillian.
And I can see and hear you. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
I have.
And can you see the timekeeper?
I can.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper. Are you ready to speak?
Yes.
So would you all please welcome Emily Lambert with a speech entitled Public Service Announcement. With a speech entitled Public Service Announcement, please welcome Emily Lambert.
Madam Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, and very welcome guests, this is a public service announcement. Single women in their 30s deserve your admiration and probably don't want your advice. And today I'm going to talk you through 4 things you may not understand about our world. And you might be thinking, Emily, why are we talking about this today? For starters, you're far too beautiful to be single in your 30s. Guys, stop. And secondly, this is really awkward for us to listen to. I appreciate that and I am sorry, but I also know that there will be women in your workplaces, in your families, your friendship groups who are similarly afflicted. And so, like Malala or Princess Diana or Greta Thunberg, I will not shy away from bringing the inconvenient truths to the people. So the first thing you need to realize is that it is nothing like Bridget Jones or Sex and the City. Bridget Jones has 2 gorgeous men fighting in the street for her affections. To date, the closest I've come to a violent declaration of love is when one particularly dim Scotsman offered to throw a glass bottle at a passing duck for my amusement. Do you dare me to throw this bottle at that duck? No ducks were harmed in the making of this anecdote, but it did really put a dampener on our picnic. Carrie Bradshaw trots around New York City in her Manolos, getting bought fancy dinners by men in expensive suits. I live in the West Country, which means I'm more likely to be found in my walking boots on the side of a blustery hill with my hair in some kind of nest. And men no longer buy you dinner, it would seem. And maybe that's okay. Times change and I can buy my own dinner. But more than one man has complained about the cost of petrol to attend the date, suggesting that the modern woman not only buys her own coffee, she should also cover mileage. The second thing you need to realize is that dating apps are a jungle. And if you haven't been there, you don't know what we have seen. Now, I know that Toastmasters do not permit content of a sexual nature, which is a shame because you're missing some of my best stories, but it is important and relevant to note just how often women in dating apps get sent pictures of a certain part of the male anatomy. If you don't know which part I'm talking about, it's the part that Billy Connolly once described as looking like something that hangs out of a shark's mouth. Let me tell you, these pictures are invariably taken in bedrooms that are so filthy, not even the shark is going to agree to put that in its mouth. At the other end of the dating app spectrum are those terrified and quivering men with their own deep-seated anxieties about the female anatomy. These men are generally looking for overbearing girlfriends to replace their overbearing mothers so that they know when it's time to get a haircut. Never mind the sharks, even I would eat those guys for breakfast. But it's not as if the guys aren't trying. Some of them really are. For example, I saw one dating profile that simply read, "I will treat you like a queen." But the picture he'd used to illustrate that point was a bowl of pasta bake with a side plate of crisps. Now, admittedly, overloading on carbohydrates is the closest I've come to an erotic experience in some time, but certain pleasures are best enjoyed on one's own. Which brings me to point number 3. We are not being too fussy. I don't want to sound dramatic here, but I would rather throw myself off the shelf and into the pits of hell than date your brother's neighbor, Jezza. And it's not because I think I'm some kind of prize, I don't. But he smells like armpits and weed, and you know he does, so stop trying to set us up. Which brings me to point number 4, we are not desperate. I don't think that all of my coupled up friends have necessarily made superior life choices. One of my friends describes herself as a PlayStation widow. She says that some weekends she wouldn't be sure that her husband is still alive, except that he's still generating dirty pants in the bedroom. And I think, yeah, sure, Simon might open the odd jam jar, but he also openly ogles your sister. Whereas I get to starfish in my bed every night. I only have to pick up my own pants, and I have fresh flowers every week because I buy them. Turns out they're not that expensive. You can pick them up in Lidl for the same price as a cup of coffee, minus the mileage. And so, to conclude this public service announcement, I want you to think twice before you say to martyr in accounts that there are plenty of fish in the sea, or have you met my brother's neighbor, Jezza? She is not living in a romantic movie. She deserves a medal for navigating the putrid backwaters of the modern dating app. She is not being too fussy, and she is not desperate. But I want to finish on one final thought, because I'm conscious that you're hearing about this world from the perspective of an eligible single female in her 30s. And if you were to have a conversation with an eligible single male in his 30s, well, then get his number and tell me at once. I'll be there within the hour. Contest chair, thank you.
Thank you very much, Emily. Could we have 1 minute on the clock, please? Silence for the judges. Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. So now we welcome our 6th contestant to the stage, Christina Lark. Christina, could we see you, please? Hi. Can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
Yeah.
I confirm that I can see and hear you. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
Mm-hmm.
And can you see the timekeeper?
Yeah.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper.
Yeah, it's pinned. It's pinned.
And are you ready to speak?
Yeah.
So please welcome Christina Lark with a speech entitled Working Title. With a speech entitled Working Title, please welcome Christina Lark.
Oh, what? Me? Already? Okay. Just a sec. Just a minute. Okay, I'm just finishing to write my speech. Okay, I have started already. Look. Humorous speech intro. I wrote this 2 weeks ago. And then I looked at it and I thought, oh, wow, well done. Great job. And so ahead of time. I have plenty of time to finish it. This calls for a celebratory break. And here we are. Looks like this is another project that's going to go to a place I call the big box of postponed dreams, where I keep all the projects that I have once started but have never finished. It's so exciting, starting things. Because it's all about the idea. You picture yourself in the future, having accomplished those amazing deeds, and you totally disregard all the work that it entails. You only see the result, For instance, I've always wanted to have done a humorous speech for a Toastmasters contest. But who would have said that to do a speech, you need to actually write it? And you don't just sit and start typing and writing like you've been possessed by the creativity fairy. Who would have said that you will be staring at a blank screen for ages? And that screen is so dirty. I mean, and that's so much dirt stuck in between the keys of your keyboard. I mean, okay. Who in here has never taken a business card or a folded Post-it and started to carve out all that little mass of hair, crumbs, and dust that comes out of your keyboard? Especially the older models where the gap is bigger, there's more goo to come out. Yeah? Double points if you've ever found a fingernail. Now, I have found my fair share of fingernails on my computer's keyboard in the office. And I don't clip my fingernails at the office, which means this is from a previous employee who's left God knows how long ago, and the nail's been sitting here this whole time, filling me now with a mix of dread and disgust and confusion. And is it just me? Please tell me it's not just me. Okay, moving on from this, moving on. Who would have said that the more you have to think, the more you're going to be strangely, magnetically attracted to your fridge? For instance, you have something really important to do on your computer, something that requires thoughts, yes, concentration, creativity, not something mechanical, and you're stuck. Then all of a sudden you stand up, you go to your fridge, you open the door, you stare, you close the door, and you come back. Most of the times, we don't even eat anything. We're like hypnotized, teleguided zombies. But it's not just me. Yeah, I can't be just me. I know that other people procrastinate, but I'm convinced that other people procrastinate on boring chores they don't want to do. Not me. No, I procrastinate on stuff that would be really fulfilling, really pleasurable, really useful to move me forward with my life. Because I suffer from a severe psychological disorder. It's called the Brussels sprout syndrome. It's a serious condition that you develop, okay? And I blame my mom for that. Because when I was a child, I knew exactly what I wanted. And I had it right in front of me. And I was going for it. And then my mother would say, "You're not eating this chocolate lava cake until you finish your Brussels sprouts." And so it began. Since childhood, I've been eating the Brussels sprouts of life, like I'm yet to earn the chocolate lava cake of life. The chocolate lava cake never comes. It's always for later, for after I've stomached something bitter and horrible, and that's supposed to be good for me. Yes, you must eat some Brussels sprouts if you want to earn the chocolate lava cake. No, you don't. No, there's no scientific correlation whatsoever between cause and effect. But we are conditioned to think that is. We're conditioned to think that pleasure is only a reward. But now that we're all adults, unsupervised by our parents, try eating a spoonful of dessert before your meal. Nothing happens. Or I'm just doomed to go straight to hell as soon as I die. Who knows what's on tap for me? Who knows? But you know, I can't just blame my mom for everything that ever goes wrong in my life. I mean, it's not fair. Let's be fair here. Let's be adults. Let's be mature. It's not just my mom's fault. I blame my dad as well. Just for genetics. Because my father was born in Barcelona. And you know how some cities in the world have those iconic monuments that symbolize them internationally. Like Sydney has the opera, and Rio has the Christ, and Paris has the Eiffel Tower. Barcelona's symbol is a cathedral that's been under construction since 1882. The guy who started building it died before he could finish. And then other people took over. And you know what they said in 2011? That it might be ready by 2028. Can you imagine this being a plausible excuse for you to use in your personal or professional life? Oh, I'll get it done by 17 years, pre-COVID estimation. Yeah, I'll get it done. Who knows at this point? No, it's not acceptable, but it's me. Yeah, apparently, yeah, that's my blood. That's who I am. And that's another project that's going to go to the big bag of postponed dreams. Not at all a Tesco bag that I got last minute because I didn't have time to prepare a proper box. This is totally on purpose. I'm no one to give a motivational speech with tips on how to beat procrastination and never leave things for the last minute. So there's no message here. Or is there? Because if it's not just me, at least it means you're not alone. That's comforting. But I still wanted to make a speech and finish it and find a miraculous punchline to send it out with a bang. But all I have is the bag. Yeah? The bag will remind me of my shortcomings. The bag speaks for itself. The bag will speak for me. The bag speaks for... yes, it worked. The bag has spoken. It's a miracle. Look, the bag. No time. 4 ways, no time to waste. That's it. Don't be like me. Don't procrastinate. Don't leave anything for the last minute. Go out and be productive and enjoy life. That's it. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster Chair. Yes, I've done the speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. Could we please have 1 minute on the clock for the judges? Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. And now we welcome our 7th contestant to the stage. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Gillian.
Thank you. Can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
Yes, I can see and hear you.
And I confirm that I can see and hear you. And have you hidden the non-video participants? Thank you.
Hidden them, yes. Yeah.
And can you see the timekeeper?
Yes.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper. And are you ready to speak?
All good. Thank you.
Wonderful. So please welcome Dan McGill with a speech entitled Wonderful World. With a speech entitled Wonderful World, please welcome Dan McGill.
Thank you. Quick show of hands. How many of you can't wait to get back to in-person conferences or in-person meetings? Me too. For example, if we were in person right now, I might have an idea how many of you just put your hands up. I've got a friend who joined Toastmasters during the pandemic, and this wonderful world of online meetings is all she knows. And she's completely addicted to online. Anything she sees on a screen, she evaluates. So I was with her last week and a clip of the moon landings came on TV. She said, "Well, I've got some recommendations." I said, "What? Recommendations for Neil Armstrong 53 years later?" She said, well, if he was to give that landing again, I'd tell him to work on his eye contact and maybe he could use more of the moon. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and my insane friend who is here today. Of course she is. During the pandemic, I started visiting clubs all over the world. One day, I emailed a club in Canada and asked if I could make a virtual visit. "Oh, of course, Dan. We need an evaluator if you're up for it." Online evaluation, not a problem. An hour or so later, I got an email from the speaker I'd be evaluating with some information about her speech. I skimmed over it, as we do. Her name was Jessie. The title was Wonderful World. It was an icebreaker, and she'd be talking about her love for Neil Armstrong. Perfect. I thought up a clever conclusion, closed my laptop, job done. That night at 1 a.m, I logged in, ready for the meeting. The Toastmaster of the day was there, suited up, hair gelled back, handheld microphone. Definitely thought that he'd just been given his own chat show. I know, we've got a few of them. Can we have a big round of applause for our first speaker on the show this evening, Jessie? Stay focused, I said to myself. It's late. Stay focused. Wow, what a great speech, Jessie. We'll be back with an evaluation of that speech right after these short messages. Only joking. It's like a TV chat show, isn't it? Let's head straight over to our special guest evaluator, Dan McGill, right now, all the way from London. What? She's finished? I hadn't heard a word of the speech. And there I was, pinned in my pajamas. Okay, keep calm, I said to myself. What would our leader, Boris Johnson, do in this situation? No, that wasn't going to work. But then it came to me. Dan, it looks like you're on mute. I wasn't, but I carried on. Dan, you don't seem to be on mute, but we can't hear a word here in the studio. What a plan. Blame technical issues, then disappear off the face of the earth. Except right then, my cat decided to jump in front of the camera. Meow. Oh, Dan, we can hear the cat. We can hear the cat. Take two. What a speech Jessie gave us today. That brings me to my first recommendation. I thought she could have used more of her screen. In the corner of my eye, I noticed somebody type in the chat, does he realize Jessie is a man? Okay, that was it. I needed to get out of this. I remembered it was an icebreaker. I remembered it was about Neil Armstrong. My big conclusion still worked. So to conclude, this may have been one small step into his living room tonight. But to paraphrase his greatest hero, it was one giant leap for Jessie's confidence. Next morning, I got an email from Jessie thanking me for the evaluation. I loved your conclusion. But you do realise my speech was about my hero, Louis Armstrong, not Neil Armstrong. Ah, wonderful world. Well, that made more sense. It wasn't my best moment. But you know, back then, everybody on this planet was scared. We'd been hit by a deadly pandemic and none of us knew where we were headed. We needed to be together. We needed to laugh. And as Toastmasters, that's what we did. Yes, of course, most of us are looking forward to doing things like this in person again. Me too. But we should never forget the times we've enjoyed here, the people we've met, and the wonderful work we've all done over these last couple of years. As Toastmasters, we've brought light to people's darkness. We brought laughter to people's loneliness. And we brought some truly awful virtual backgrounds into people's homes. So in the heavily, heavily edited words of Louis Armstrong, Louis, the colours of your living rooms, so pretty on the screen, the books on your shelves that you never even read. I've seen friends shaking hands, red timing lights too. They're really saying, yeah, we've had just about enough of you. I've heard babies cry. I've watched your beards grow. But it was better than the Tiger King or any other Netflix show. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Contest chair.
Thank you very much, Dan. Could we have 1 minute silence, please, for the judges? Thank you, Mr. Timekeeper. And now we welcome our 8th contestant, Gandhi Vasan. Gandhi, can you confirm that you can see and hear me?
Yes, I can.
And I confirm that I can see and hear you. And have you hidden the non-video participants?
Yes, I have.
And can you see the timekeeper?
Yes, I can.
Please feel free to pin the timekeeper. Are you ready to speak?
Yes, I am.
So, please welcome Gandhi Vasan with a speech entitled "The Grass is Not Always Greener on the Other Side." With a speech entitled "The Grass is Not Always Greener on the Other Side," please welcome Gandhi Vasan.
Can you believe it? Bill and Melinda Gates have got divorced. I know how it feels because I too went through a divorce. Heartache and tragedy strike us all equally, whether we are billionaires or paupers. It's always tragic when a couple that have been together for so long split up. But one can't help thinking though, did they try turning their relationship off and then on again? Apparently, they were about to attempt that, but unfortunately, a large software update appeared out of the blue and interrupted the process. Now that they're stopping their relationship, do they have to press start first? Maybe it's simply updating and the circle of doom is just going around and round. They say Melinda didn't like him being a workaholic and was upset that he was in the Office 365. Even though he did excel, she didn't share the same outlook. She wanted more access to him. But Bill said that she never let him get a word in anyways. He clearly wasn't as linked in as he thought. So this divorce is a PowerPoint and the project has come to an end. Bill could not have the Xbox anymore. But Melinda said that he had a floppy drive. Not sure whether it was an 8-inch or a 5-inch or a 3.5-inch floppy. Maybe she woke up one day and thought, I can't stand Bill's Microsoft anymore. This has really opened a window on their life. There's a lot of cachet at stake here. Will their financial power point the way ahead for their relationship? Everything seemed so azure, but it soon clouded over. Perhaps Bill couldn't get his wife turned on. I too couldn't get my ex-wife turned on. My ex-wife was a wonderful woman and a great housekeeper. She kept the house, she kept the kids, she kept the dogs. She really was a keeper. But with Bill, his lawyers have said that Melinda can keep the house, but the windows will still be his. As they're no longer the apple of each other's eyes, did either Bill or Melinda stray? Had they been hanging out on meetups and Skyping others all along? But what makes people stray? Could it be, as the great philosopher Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones once said, nothing beats the sensation of taking off a woman's clothes for the first time. That's very insightful of Sir Keith, because what he's actually saying is that people think that the grass might be greener. They are excited with the big reveal, the anticipation, the expectation, and the surprise of someone new. Who doesn't get tempted? Who doesn't fantasize? And who is not deluded? But there is a price to pay. How many family members end up paying with tears, heartache, and brutal betrayal? Such is the collateral damage of adultery. Ask the long-term damaged spouse or willfully abandoned child, all due to lust. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, to conclude, I would like to send one note from a bankrupt to the billionaire couple. To Melinda, I say, you're a practicing Catholic, and you've talked to the Pope, no less, about an annulment. But you can't press Control-Alt-Delete on a relationship after 27 years and 3 kids. So maybe you could find it in your heart to forgive. To Bill, I say, it's an illusion to think that the grass is greener on the other side. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? The only person you'll attract is a gold digger. Perhaps you just need to reach out to Melinda and water the grass on your own side. Sometimes we need to grow apart to appreciate how much we need each other. Contest chair.
Thank you very much, Gandhi. And could we please now have a minute for the judges to complete their marking? Silence, in fact, until the judges leave the room, and Mr. Chief Judge, you will keep us informed. Mr. Zoom Master, could we please have the contestants in the room?
Sorry, in the main room, or?
Yes, we're doing interviews now.
Yes, they should. I believe all of the contestants are back in the main room now.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So now I have the privilege of interviewing the contestants. It would be wonderful if you would all please put your videos on so we can see you. And is Hope here? I was going to talk to people in order. Hi, Hope.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you very much for your speech. I really enjoyed it. And it struck a few chords with me because I'm a Canadian citizen and I too have been through the pain of arriving in the UK and having my right to remain questioned.
Yes, how uncomfortable is this?
I love the fact that you managed to make a humorous speech out of it.
When life gives you lemons, make a comedy lemonade.
Wonderful. Is this why you chose to live on the other side of the world in the end from us?
No, after the year I returned back. This was more than 10 years ago.
Okay.
But living in the rainy conditions of the UK did open up the space for me wanting to live on an island.
A different island, a sunnier one.
Yes.
Wonderful. And I see that you're a very active outdoor sort of person. From your interest, you list hiking, foraging, trail running. That sounds pretty adventurous. Are these things that you can enjoy where you live now?
Yes, in Hawaii, I am lucky enough where I can trail run, I can hike, and there's plenty of vegetation that I'm learning about that can be used for teas or just to eat. So yes, I love being outside. I love being in the sun, and I just love being embraced with nature.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you, Hope.
You're welcome.
I love the sound of Hawaii for you. It sounds great. Let's have our second contestant, Nish. Hello, thank you for your speech. I hope you've managed to get rid of the cornflakes now.
Yes.
I thought it was very clever the way you got around the idea of possibly having an offensive word in your speech in the end.
It kept me on tenterhooks until the last moment. Then I thought, I don't want to compromise with the word and why I want to use it, but at the same time, I didn't want to offend anyone or cause any problems. So no. star came to my help. Yeah.
Always the best way. Always the best way. And you're an independent journalist. Does this take you on travels? Do you go far and wide? Or
yes, in pre-COVID times, I have traveled to unusual places, and yes, it comes with a bit of travel.
It sounds wonderful. And nowadays, of course, things are a little more different. But you sound as if you have a mixture of active and less active pursuits. Running, my goodness. And Rubik's,
I'm sure. Yeah.
Rubik's cubes.
Yes, that is something I picked up last year. I'm actually challenging myself to do things that I always wanted to do as a kid, but I either didn't have access to those things, or because I was a girl child, people didn't take me seriously. So I was always fascinated by Rubik's Cube, and it always looked like a big challenge. So last year, I challenged myself after a very big project, and I taught myself how to solve it. So at the moment, I can solve it in 3 minutes, 20 seconds. And the goal is to actually solve it under 60 seconds, but I haven't had enough time to spend on this because it requires a lot of hard work and a lot of hours.
That sounds very determined of you to have pursued that. And are there Rubik's Cubes contests in the same ways there might be chess contests?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Nish. Let's move on to Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Julian.
I was really a little bit uncomfortable in your speech. I was feeling my skin crawl when you started mentioning cockroaches and mosquitoes. Sounds quite. Are you a great traveller?
I tend to go if I'm sent somewhere, or if somebody says, "Come along, there's a party." I'll go to the opening of an envelope, and that's shallow. So I will travel for that reason too.
Oh,
and I had to go to Gabon for work, so I was actually for me it was quite challenging because I'm not a great jungle lover, and I had never thought, oh, I really want to be in the jungle with lots of mosquitoes. It wasn't an ambition.
I have bad memories of mosquitoes because I lived in Toronto until I was 7, and the mosquitoes there are about 5 times the size of the ones over here.
Yeah.
You really feel it when they bite.
Yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I liked it a bit. It was interesting to be isolated in a jungle on a compound, somewhere I never thought I would be, and driving up at night in a Jeep, kind of to the top of a ravine or something and just hang out for a while. It was really pleasant.
Is it quiet there in the jungle?
Very, because I come from Ireland originally, and Gabon is about 30 times the size of Ireland, but it only has a population a third of Ireland. So they only have about 1 million people in a country the size 30 times the size of Ireland. So it's very quiet in many places.
And really having gorillas around?
Really having gorillas around, really having snakes around, really eating roadkill. No, but it's. I mean, I would have said that before I was there, but it was something that our drivers and people around prized because it gave them meat. When you're that isolated, you can't go to the supermarket. So
well, it's better to take advantage of these things,
exactly.
isn't it? It's environmentally friendly, I would say. If a little objectionable, depending on how long it's actually been there.
Well, yeah. It's all context. I'm not recommending it for the UK.
Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much for your speech. We really enjoyed it. I felt that actually that your various devices had more of a say than you did. I think you've been outspoken by all of your devices in that speech. But yeah. Do your devices know more about you than your partner? It's an interesting question, isn't it?
Well, certainly your devices know where you've gone. So I just, this morning I had an update from Google Maps telling me that this month I've driven 1,404 miles and spent 43 hours in my car. Yeah, there we go.
That's thoughtful of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I did kind of need to know that.
And you told me that your car speaks to you as well. Is that?
Oh, of course it does.
And gives you helpful little reminders.
Yes.
And you're interested in all things tech, you say, but you're also interested in art. What is your particular interest in art?
I kind of claim to be a professional artist. So I paint acrylic abstracts and I sketch people. And I've posted some of my work onto Facebook, and I've had people commission work from me. So I've actually, sold work. So I paint abstract acrylic.
That's amazing, because it's quite unusual to have a combination of technical expertise with an imagination to go with it. I'm afraid I'm more on the tech side than the imagination side, so I admire you massively.
So I took this up 3 years ago, so I was between contracts. And so I've not so much an artist as somebody who owns artist materials. And I had some free time and I wanted something to do. So I started doing much more work. And it seems I have enough talent that people enjoy, appreciate the work that I do.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Kit. Emily, thank you very much for your speech. I was highly entertained by it. Public service announcement. I was actually quite convinced by your description of the pleasures of being single, even though I've been married for so many years I've forgotten.
I think it definitely has its advantages. Yeah, for sure.
I think that the thought of being independent and not having somebody telling you what to do is quite nice. Quite nice.
Absolutely. No, there are plenty of things to be enjoyed, I think, about the single life.
Yeah. And you are a member of Why Not Speakers.
Yes, I am the great Why Not Speakers.
I think that's the most amazing speakers club name I've heard. Is it right? That's actually a pub name, the Why Not?
Oh, I don't know if it's a pub. The River Wye is obviously our closest sort of river. We're based in South Wales, but yeah, it's such a wonderful group and a very funny group as well. So when you're doing humorous speeches, there's lots of very good competition because yeah, everybody's got a good sense of humor. It makes it lots of fun to go.
Oh, wonderful. And how long have you haven't been that many years in Toastmasters, have you?
No, I think it must be coming up to a year in June or July, maybe.
Wow, that's amazing. And you've already been in 2 of our district contests.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and I mean, it's a little bit intimidating, to be honest. I don't think I quite knew what I was getting into, but it's been good fun anyway.
That's wonderful. Thank you very much, Emily. Christina, you had me fooled. I really thought you weren't paying attention there for a second when I was introducing you.
Maybe I was writing the speech, honestly. Last minute speech writing.
We've all been there. We've all been, well, I have anyway.
And I thank you so much for saying so. And it's so good for my mental health to hear that it's not just me.
I loved your idea of a big bag of postponed dreams as well. I'm afraid there's never
It was supposed to be a box.
Oh, well, never mind. There's always a few things we have to postpone in life. There's never time for everything. But the cathedral in Barcelona, they're still building it, aren't they?
So I heard in 2011 they said that it might be ready around 2028, and this was before COVID. So say around 2030 now, if they don't delay it and postpone it even more. But I guess the eternal construction is already is the character of the city, is already the cathedral that never ends. I don't think it should end because it's the vision, it's the vision of the architect that he could never finish because he was such a perfectionist and everything needed to be all this. If it's constructed now, it's just weird.
It's the most beautiful thing. I've seen it. It really is.
Inside? I didn't get inside.
Not inside. I've seen it on the outside. Yeah, that's beautiful. And the Brussels sprout syndrome. Do you think everybody's mother does that? Do they all tell you to finish your sprouts?
No, I can't speak for anybody's mother, but everything in the speech is my own experience. I don't know if other people experience this, but I tend to see that there's always this, oh, you can only do this once you've finished that, and like only the fun part after you've done something that is not fun. And now that we're all adults and maybe entrepreneurs, or even if we have jobs or not entrepreneurs, we have personal projects, and we have ingrained this mentality that, oh no, we're not ready for the fun part yet. It's there. you can only do it. But no, we're not ready for this yet. We need to be filling out the spreadsheet before, or organizing your pantry or your desk with all the papers in boxes that have been, so, and we do this to ourselves. And I don't know why it's a phenomenon that I decided to call it the Brussels sprout syndrome, because it's from childhood, I guess.
Oh, I remember those days. My mother always said, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that now, but you'll be able to do it when you're grown up.
Once something,
Yeah.
right? It's like you can only get a dog after you get good grades, and then you study for a semester, and you can only get this once you do that, and you can only get, and you're always thinking that, oh no, I'm not worthy of the good bit yet because I haven't suffered enough, and so you impose suffering enough. We mental.
Thank you, Christina. Damn, wonderful world. Is this a real experience, or it sounds unfortunately as if it could have been?
It's pretty much a real experience for me, with maybe a few small exaggerations, but I think it's a real experience in some way for anyone who's been on Zoom or been at Toastmasters Zoom meetings over the last couple of years. We've all had embarrassments about something along the way. That was just one example from many that I could have pulled out, probably the best one. But yeah, even the meeting after that, I remember going thinking, okay, I need to focus today, and I was so in the zone that I evaluated the wrong speech. I didn't even look at the agenda properly because I was so focused on evaluating that day and listening that my speaker was first, and the Toastmaster said, okay, now we're going to have the evaluation for that first speech, so I'm all ready. And she introduced someone else, and I'm there with notes for this person, and realized that I've got to do the second person speech, and because I was making notes, I'd barely listened to the second person speech. So it happened again the next meeting, and yeah, I'd be surprised if there aren't some more examples in this room right now.
I'm sure I've been there as well. Perhaps not a whole speech, but certainly a table topic I was meant to evaluate. Oh, and you were Tall Tales champion 2021 in District 12 Speakers Bureau.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I was, I suppose, alluding to at the end, that this has been hard, and maybe we're all getting a little bit tired of this kind of Zoom environment now, but so many good things have come out of it. And I did visit everywhere, and I did get to go and join a club in California online. It was a club I'd visited in person, so suddenly to be able to go to all their meetings was great, even if it was the middle of the night and I had to take the next day off work every week. But yeah, so I joined the club, and then they had what's called a speakers bureau there, which some districts have, where kind of they'll have like their own contest, but within one evening. And I did a Tall Tales one there, and that was great. I only win because of my accent. That was the only reason I won. They like the accent there, but Hope had a good advantage with that today, I thought.
Oh.
Hope's a member at my club, which I'm not competing through, but she doesn't mind. She doesn't mind.
Society speakers, isn't it?
Society speakers, yes, yeah.
You know, you were the only contestant who didn't actually know what clubs you belonged to. When you didn't seem to know which clubs you belonged to when we were sorting out eligibility.
I did have to check, yeah. It was less than I thought in the end. A few of them have dropped off, and probably should have.
Computers are wonderful things. They keep track of it for us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dan. And finally, Gandhi. Thank you very much for your speech. The grass is not always greener on the other side. I can't believe that anyone was giving marriage counselling to Bill and Melinda Gates. What inspired you to give this speech?
Well, I went through a divorce. It's about 15 years ago now that I went through a divorce. And the thing is, I was married at that time for 21 years. And I'd always thought that divorce is something that happens to other people. And when it happened to me, it was very traumatic because, your whole world is turned upside down. And you don't realize the implications for your kids and your life. Everything just completely changes. And so I took very keen interest in every story on divorce. After I went through the divorce, it became something of very interest to me. And I see some of my friends getting divorced. And I realized that you kind of do it in haste. And there's a saying, isn't it? You marry in haste and repent at leisure or something. And I think in this case, you divorce in haste and repent in the next relationship. Or, you know, I find that a lot of my friends have gone through this, and I really do think that it's got more to do with yourself when you go through these traumatic experiences. And the grass really isn't green on the other side. I mean, I'm remarried and I'm very, very happy now, but it taught me a lot of things. And when you see a couple that seemingly on the surface are phenomenally successful and doing all these wonderful things for charity and going through this situation as well after so many years, you kind of realize that it's something that happens. It's a human condition, that it's life, that you're together with a person for a while. But the way I was brought up, you know, or you meet someone, you live with them for the rest of your life. And now I realize that maybe one part of your life is with one person and another, but the grass is not always green. It's different in some ways. So, and I just found that when I actually started looking at all the Microsoft software, you could integrate that. And there was a pun there. And really, there was a lot more. When you look at all their products, they have a lot more in it, but maybe it might not work so well. So yeah, that's what prompted me to do it.
Yeah, it was. I really did love the puns that you used in your speech. One other thing I wanted to mention, I actually looked at your website and I was absolutely stunned by your photography.
Thank you.
The creativity of it. And there were so many animal pictures.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of dogs and cats.
I was going to say, which is your favorite animal and why?
The thing is, I fell into becoming a dog photographer, funny enough, because I did we had a lovely dog called Basil, which, you know, he ended up with my ex-wife. Basil, I took a photograph of Basil and I put it in for a competition in New York. There's a big photographic competition. And it was seen by a publisher in New Zealand. And the publisher said, look, Gandhi, your dog pictures are so funny. We could do a great book on dogs. So I ended up shooting some 80 dogs for this dog book. And that's how I got into that whole. And then I started getting commissioned by advertising agencies. So I do dog pictures for Purina, for Pedigree, for all the big dog brands.
Wonderful.
So that's how I fell into it. But it's interesting because I kind of saw Kit's work, and it's really amazing. And I kind of think when you do something, things happen. When you do something interesting, things happen that you don't expect. And I'm sure Kit will agree with me there.
Kit, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm also a photographer, and actually, what I learned out of photography, I'm actually a prize-winning photographer as well. What I learned out of photography is a lot about light, and so having done a bit of art and then a whole load of photography, I learned that it's about seeing, it's about construction, it's about structure, it's about action, and then I somehow or other translated that into art, and also my ability to, I do sketching, I do kind of abstract sketching of people, so just kind of outlines and stuff, and definitely it's about the eye. I get really annoyed, as I imagine you do, Gandhi, when somebody says, oh, you must have a good camera. It's like, that's so not funny. It's like...
My dad always used to say that. He's he was a keen photographer, and he taught me to capture a subject. He showed me how to frame a subject in my not very imaginative way, but how to make it look good. Yeah. I think we have a very creative bunch of people here today.
Yeah, and I'm waving the flag for IT people who are creative.
Yeah, wow. And Christina, are you an actress? You seem a very good actress in your speech.
Yeah. Actually, I wrote this, and this speech I have adapted from a show that I was touring in the Fringe and in Australia, in Edinburgh.
Oh,
so it's my own, it's original, and it was a 1 hour show. There was much more going on, and it's not stand-up comedy. I had characters, I had other things, but this central idea of me procrastinating was what started with what I can't write a whole 1 hour show. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave everything for the last minute. And I said, oh, you know what? Maybe what's coming to me when I think of that. So yeah, I teach acting. I teach public speaking. So yeah.
Wonderful. And Dan, you're into stand-up comedy as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm into it. It's not into me very much, but yeah, I haven't done that much actually since we started kind of being able to go back to do them outside again. So I'd like to get back into a bit more. But just before lockdown, I was doing quite a lot, and I think I got a laugh one night, so that was nice. I was definitely moving in the right direction. But yeah, I need to get back into it. I was enjoying it.
I'm sure you did. Yeah. Okay. Dan, I really loved your quote, changing the subject completely. Your favorite quote: honesty and transparency make you vulnerable. Be honest and transparent anyway.
So what happened there was I was in another contest yesterday, the more serious one. And I had that quote down on my form for that one because I thought that's very appropriate for the international contest, a nice serious quote. And it is a quote I like. And obviously for a humorous, I'd have found a good Homer Simpson one or something, but I forgot.
This is what you get for being lazy, you see, giving the
sorry.
same form for both contests.
Yeah, I know. But it's Mother Teresa. It's I think it's an important quote for all of us to, honesty and transparency. It is really difficult to be honest and transparent, especially about ourselves. But I think when we do, there is a power it gives us and it gives to other people. And yeah, I won't get too much into it in a humorous conversation, but yeah, I like that.
The person I'm in trouble with, this is Debs. So, this is part of my sketching. So this is Debs.
Oh, wonderful. Oh gosh, we must be getting close to the judges coming back. Speak.
Yes, Gillian, the judges and the Chief Judge are back in the room.
Wonderful. Mr. Chief Judge, can I hand back to you? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So I am really pleased to announce that there have been no disqualifications. So very well done, all of the contestants. I certainly had a really hard job deciding on a result, and I'm sure that the judges equally had a really difficult time. However, they have decided on a result. So I'm really pleased to announce in third place, drum roll please, Kit Barrett. Well done, Kit. And at this moment, maybe there will be a virtual certificate. Very well done, Kit. In second place, I'm pleased to announce Christina Lark for the District 91 Humorous Speech Contest. this year's winner for the District 91 District 91 Humorous Speech Contest is Dan McGill. Very well done, Dan. And Dan, I have a trophy to get to you. So congratulations on winning the District 91 Humorous Speech Contest. Very well done. A great series of speeches from all of the competitors. And I will now hand back to the contest chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chief Judge. And congratulations to all of our contestants, but most particularly to Dan. And Dan, how do you feel now? You're a double prize winner.
Thank you. I feel a little bit greedy, but thank you. It's really, really nice, and yeah, amazing. And everyone was great today. Really, really good. Well done, Christina and Kit and everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. And do you have any advice for upcoming humorous contestants?
No advice for humorous contestants, except enter. That is something actually. So many people say, "Oh, I'm not funny. I'm going to wait for the international next year," but to just give it a go and enter. And you know, people aren't. Some people are naturally funny, but I'm not naturally funny, and I've done okay in this. And just give it a go. And so what if it's terrible and you lose? It doesn't matter. Just have a go.
Oh, thank you very much, Dan, and huge congratulations. Really pleased for you. And thank you to everybody who's given their time to this, to our chief judge and the voting judges, to all of the timers and the ballot counters and everybody who's helped out, to our wonderful Zoom masters, Timon and Fran, who've worked so hard behind the scenes. Thank you to everybody who's been organising it, and to the support from Charlotte, who's been the backup contest chair as well. Hi, Charlotte. And I will now hand you back to our Masters of Ceremony. Toby.
Hello.
Hi, Toby.
Hi, thanks very much, Julian, and all your team around you. A fantastic contest there, well run. And I hope everybody who's watching this enjoyed it as well. As you know, there was these contestants were like scarecrows, outstanding in their field. Very good. More dad jokes, get on the Hoover app, send them through to me. I'll use them and cop them off as my own next year in the Humorous Speech Contest. It's not the end yet of everything though, but it is almost time, because coming up next, it is the final closing ceremony. That starts at 4:15, so it's about 20 minutes to get yourself a drink, relax, put your feet up and enjoy as we say goodbye to a fantastic and really enjoyable conference. Thank you very much. See you all there.